Welcome back for today's session. We are going to be speaking a little bit today about the healing that you can do with Reiki for others. Now, the main thing that I need you to understand is that permission is mandatory. You cannot give healing to a person without their explicit permission. In fact, my guru used to say that they should ask you for Reiki. Only then you give them Reiki. What happens is when we get into the healing aspect, we know that Reiki will be able to help, right? So then automatically we feel like giving Reiki to people. But it is not something that we should be doing without their permission. Like we had that discussion about the karmic debt and everything. Same thing over here. The permission has to come from the person to receive Reiki. If there is no permission, you will often find that there is no improvement also. Sometimes there will be temporary improvement and then it will roll back. So you must always have the person ask you to send them Reiki. Okay? So what happens if a person does not know about Reiki? You know Reiki can help, but the person is not aware of Reiki. What happens in that situation? You explain to them about the concept of Reiki. You explain to them how energy healing works. And then you suggest this problem that you have been talking to me about, Reiki may be able to help. Then they will ask, how do we go about it? This, that. Then you explain, this is how it works, and we have to give healing to you. And then say, would you be interested? If they say, yes, I would like to receive Reiki, that is your permission. If they say, I'm not certain, I don't know if this will work, that means they are not yet ready to receive. Maybe they need to be convinced more, or maybe they need to just work through that. Yes, Devina.
What if we are asking, uh, you know, for somebody else? I am not giving it directly myself. Okay, the person is asking for somebody else. Can you give it to my husband? And the husband is not aware of it. Then
Okay, so firstly, if such a situation is arising that the person who is the actual recipient is not asking you, but someone else is asking on their behalf, that means that they will not be coming to you for level 1 Reiki. They will not be sitting in front of you and you will not be doing the physical healing on their body. So the technique over there is a level 2 technique, which is through distance healing. And over there is another technique which we spoke about briefly earlier, where we say that we get the higher self permission. Good afternoon, Auntie. Welcome.
Wait, thank you.
Okay, so over here, what happens is you take permission from their higher self for the healing that is to happen. You will get a response there. You'll get either a yes or a no or a very ambiguous thing. So till you don't get a very clear feeling of yes, that this soul's higher self is telling me that they are okay to receive healing, please don't send healing, because it will not be effective. But at your level right now, at level 1, whoever is asking for healing, they will be requiring touch healing from you, so you must get their permission. Also, another point is physical touch while giving the healing is not always required. You can work on the aura itself. So sometimes, like for instance, if you're doing it for an officer or, a gentleman whom you do not know well, and you may not be comfortable touching them physically on the body, you can just do the healing on the aura. Yes, Jyoti's got it. So basically, if it's the third eye, there is this much space, but you are in the aura on that particular point. Same thing with the ears, with the third eye, whatever it is, you work only on the aura, and that is equally effective. because you are working on the energy, not on the physical body. So even if you are doing the healing on the corresponding aura part, it will be effective. Yes, Devina.
Sorry, one more question. There are some older people in the house who may not be able to turn themselves onto their, back. फिर क्या करना है?
फिर आपने उनके सिर्फ चक्रास करने on the front. Just give them the rapid Reiki 6 chakras and spend at least 5 minutes on each chakra.
Okay.
That will also help.
Nice.
Okay?
Thank you.
All
Thank you.
right. So that is the point, first thing, that you have to have permission. Now, suppose there is more than one person involved in the healing. How does it work? So there are two ways that you can do a group Reiki healing. The first is the wheel. This is like how the spokes of the wheel come and meet in the center. So that the person who's receiving Reiki is in the center, and all the mediums are placing their hands. So you decide, okay, I will do the head part. Somebody will do the torso. Somebody will do the leg points, and you continue working like that with everyone working directly on the person's body together. So this is the wheel part. Now what happens is, it's okay if it is like a group of friends and everybody knows everybody, and you're comfortable with so many people's touch on your body. Sometimes a person may not be that comfortable receiving Reiki with so many hands touching them, right? So in that case, we use the spiral. So in this case, what happens is only one person is physically working on the patient, whoever needs healing, and the other people are all beaming energy in a chain. Okay, so what is happening is, like, say I am sending healing to Jinder auntie, so my hands are on her and I'm doing healing. But Devina is there and Jyoti is there as well, and they also want to send the healing to the same person. So Devina is beaming to me, you know. So what happens is, like, say for instance, I have my hands on Jinder auntie. Devina has got her she's just placed her hands like this behind me for the healing to be magnified for Jinder auntie. Same thing behind me, Jyoti has got her hands on Devina in her aura to send healing. So it's like however many people there are, there is a spiral of a chain of people giving healing. Yes, Jyoti.
When you say one after another in spiral, say you are, giving Reiki on the heart chakra,
Hmm.
and then Devina is giving on shoulders.
No, no. It is that I am doing the full body Reiki for Jinder auntie, and Devina is only supporting my energy by sending beaming Reiki into my aura, with the
Okay.
intention that that energy helps amplify the healing for Jinder auntie.
Right, right.
And
So
similarly,
in
you are sending energy to Devina's aura to amplify the healing for Jinder auntie. So it's like a chain that is getting created, and it's like a spiral.
so this
That is
takes complete time to do Reiki for a person, whereas in wheel we can do it more,
faster.
quickly,
Yes.
fast.
The wheel goes much faster because you are able to cover the points that
Yeah.
much quicker. But the spiral
Huh.
also is a good technique, not so much for physical Reiki, but for when you are doing distance healing. So what happens is,
Okay.
say, for instance, so Devina says, I need healing for my daughter. Now I know Devina's daughter, but maybe Seema doesn't know Devina's daughter. Right. So I focus the healing on Devina's daughter, and Seema focuses her healing on me with the intention that the healing that I am doing for Devina's daughter is successful. So in the technique that works that way, actually spiral healing works much better when you're doing it for distance. But it is also point that some people do not prefer too many hands on them, so they may also want to do spiral healing despite a number of mediums being available in the room. Yes, Devin.
So spiral can be both in person and virtual.
Correct.
And wheel has to be
No, no.
in person.
Even wheel can be in this thing. Like say for instance, all right. So if I require healing, and I say okay, I need healing, and I ask Jyoti also for healing. I ask Pratiksha also for healing. I ask Devina also for healing, and they can all send me healing for the same issue at the same time. So that is again a wheel,
Okay, got it.
but it would
Okay.
be a distance healing wheel. So both techniques are possible, both in person as well as in distance healing. But spiral works better for distance healing. That's all. Yes, Jyoti.
When we speak about spiral healing or wheel healing, and specifically in spiral, let's say we are doing healing to a person ABC,
Hmm.
and that person has come to you,
Hmm.
and then what happens is you have scanned and you understood that okay, you got your message that this is how what you have to heal.
Hmm.
And then do you share that with the other healers that, okay, this is where you have to give healing, or you simply give healing? Like I simply give healing to you, that through you, let the healing go to ABC person. Devina gives the healing to me, that through me, let the healing go to ABC person.
So
Or
you
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 discuss
don't
it
you
through,
don't need to discuss in detail what has happened during the
okay,
healing. During the healing, when you get the regio message and all, you don't need to discuss it. You
okay,
just start working on the points. However,
uh-huh.
later on, and because the people who are sending you in the chain for the spiral, they are only giving the intention that this person's healing is successful.
So you just tell the person's name that we are doing Reiki for this person,
Correct.
and the
And
time needs to be the same.
ideally, if you're doing it at the same time, it is more powerful.
Okay,
Which
so
is
that
why we
means
have
the
those 12 o'clock. I don't know if you were part of our 12 o'clock healings.
no, I was
Okay,
not.
we do have that happening occasionally in the Love, Light, and Prayers group. So, which is why that 12 o'clock prayer, everybody is focusing at the same time. I think Jinder Auntie has been part of that, right?
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Sisterhood is also a part of this, is it? You had gone to one sisterhood meeting one day.
And that's a different thing.
That's a different thing.
That's a different thing. But I think about three of my sisters have in that sisterhood have also learned Reiki from me now. So it's also becoming very cohesive. Okay. So these are the two different techniques in which you can do group healing for a person. There's the wheel and there's the spiral. Clear enough? Yes, Jyoti.
Yeah, so how does it work? Like, you are doing it at, let's say, 5 o'clock,
Hmm.
and then I'm not available at 5, so I might be available at 6 o'clock, or I might be available later. Does
So
it
these
work
are
that
all
way?
questions for level 2 healing.
Okay,
Okay, there are techniques, there are ways to do it. You program
fine.
healing and all that is there. In a group healing that is taking in a person, place in person, obviously everybody has to be in the same location at the same time. But this aspect of distance healing, where maybe I am free at a different time and you are free at a different time, that there are techniques in level 2 that you learn which allow you to send healing to the person at that time. Okay. All right, so moving on. There are certain specific special cases that you have to watch out for when you are doing healing with Reiki. Now, the first one is if a person has had a pacemaker put, then you cannot give them Reiki on the heart chakra and the solar plexus. Why? The surge of energy that you put in that area, that actually has an effect on the pacemaker machine. So if a person has had a pacemaker inserted, please avoid this completely. This portion from here to here, it is off limits for a person. You can do the head points, you can do the lower parts, but avoid the heart chakra to solar plexus chakra region. Second case is for fractures. Now, Reiki healing occurs fairly quickly. It helps with your joining of the knitting of the bone quite well. So over here, do not give Reiki to a person who has not had their fracture set. The healing that you will give on the bone will only occur after their fracture has been set and has been put in the plaster. उसके पहले नहीं देना है. So to help them with the pain and all, you can give them healing on the sacral chakra. You can give them healing on the solar plexus chakra. Solar plexus will help calm them down also, because it is the emotion center. So you can do healing for those areas, but don't give on the location of the break till it has been set by the doctor. After it has been set, you can give it twice in the day, morning and evening. The fractures will heal really fast. This we have experienced with my own grandma, so we know that it really works. Okay. Then comes the case of a surgery. When a person asks you for healing for a surgery, you will do healing before the surgery, sending Reiki to say that the surgery is successful. And you will do healing after the surgery to say that the healing is accelerated. However, at the actual part of the surgery, that time that the person is actually in the operating theater, you will not be sending healing. Why? Because this is based on a documented case where somebody received healing during the surgery, and because of all the energy charge that was going through, their your basic metabolism changes now when you are receiving so much energy. So they ran through the anesthetic dose and they actually woke up on the surgery table. So to avoid things like this, you give a person before the surgery starts with the intention that it is successful, and you give after the surgery is over for quick recovery and accelerated healing. Okay. Then we come to the fourth case, which is of diabetes. Now, if you are sending healing to someone who is suffering from diabetes and is on medication for it, whether it is pills or whether it is injections or shots, if they are being medicated for their diabetes, please ensure that before you start their Reiki journey, you know what their blood work levels are. After 1 week, you have them check it, and every week they have to check, because as the healing occurs, their blood chemistry work will differ and they will require lesser medicine. The dosage will have to come down. So they need to maintain their regular blood work records. If that is not done, they may go into a problem area because they are getting more insulin than what is required by the body. So these are the 4 cases. In case you are doing healing for someone else, you have to be very careful about this. Yes, Jyoti.
Speaking about diabetes, this is something which is becoming more common. And then, specifically in those cases where many times women are like, पता नहीं, फिर डॉक्टर से पूछने नहीं जा सकते हैं, या फिर they are getting the, Reiki done on their husbands, where they cannot really, know that, okay, check it at this time, they will do it. That, they cannot say that, okay, अभी क्या level है, आप change करिए. So in such cases, how do we go ahead?
So ideally, if a person is
Or
diabetic,
can it be that we can give Reiki only on certain chakras?
no, if you are giving healing for diabetes, then the person who is receiving the healing has to be able to check their blood work. They have to do it. It's not that they cannot do it. because if they're receiving healing for something, even they would want to see the difference, whether it is having any effect or not. And the only way to document is through weekly blood tests. And most diabetics do tend to get those in any case. The idea is to record the levels over a period of time, over the 21 days that healing cycle that you are giving them the healing, to see what the difference is. Okay. All right. So I think we'll stop this today here, and we'll do the self-healing now.